Cool. Hello, everybody. Thanks for coming back to another episode of Burn the Ship. We're still out at the Innovation Depot out here in Birmingham interviewing some of these tech entrepreneurs. I had the opportunity to do a lunch and learn earlier. It was a lot of fun. Learned a lot from those people actually that I talked to, and hopefully some good business to be done there. But we're here with another guest of ours. This podcast is definitely centered around helping other entrepreneurs go all in on their business. We were just kind of talking about that before we hopped on the mic. Yep. So go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell people who you are, what you do, what your company is.
Yeah, so my name is Stefan Vaziri. I am CEO and co-founder of Sportsy. And what Sportsy is a creator-driven training and education platform for sports. So we partner with influential coaches and trainers and empower them with the tools they need to create, deliver, and monetize digital training experiences at scale. So, they're currently, there's a ton of coaches and trainers that are producing sports training content. But they really don't have a platform that's designed to help them deliver that content in a way that's accessible and really practical when you think about the kind of real-world training experience. So get out on the field or on a court. YouTube is fine, but it's really not designed for that experience.
Sure.
And so we're really trying to position ourselves as this is a way to standardize that type of content, really maximize the value of it, and reach a broader audience. Ultimately, if we can put more money in the kind of pockets of our partners, then we succeed. And
so explain it. I was checking it out earlier, and it seems like you have like a social media network aspect of it. You have a marketplace aspect of it, and then you have like a content like dissemination aspect of that as well.
Right.
Explain to me really what the goals, like, are you working with people that already have developed a following? Are you helping people develop a following? Are you helping people develop and monetize the content? Like, is it some of all of those things because there's really no technology in that space that's doing that?
Yeah, we're really trying to kind of support the kind of full spectrum, right? So whether you're kind of a smaller creator kind of getting started, you maybe have a personal training business, or you have a decent sized audience. Either one, like we work with both, and on the smaller audience size, that's part of the value prop is we can help you grow and reach a broader audience. And for those that already have an established audience, then for them it's really more about monetizing that content. So they're already engaging that behavior. They're producing this content at a pretty high volume. It's good quality content. It's getting shared to social media, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, and it's really, again, not the ideal way to interact with that content when it comes to sports training. And so, so we're really, our current partners it's a healthy mix. Some of them, are 60, 70,000 followers, pretty loyal, engaged audience. Some of them have, somewhere in the 1,000 follower range, and we work with everyone. So
Sure. So you guys can take like the personal fitness influencer from their hometown as well as like the next Sean T's of the world, and your marketplace can work as kind of that marketplace, that CRM, that marketing tool, all of those things in order to.
We're really trying to be that like a kind of single destination for them.
How many users do you have?
So right around 8,000 registered users today.
Oh, okay. On the consumer side or on the actual trainer side?
Yeah, that's kind of end users.
Okay.
In terms of our partners, like content partners, we have I think seven or eight off the top of my head.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've
8 to 8,000 though is a big conversion as far as the consumer side of things go, and that's a lot of times is the difficult part.
Yeah, I mean we've actually had a very kind of easy time recruiting partners. They're again they're already we're not asking them to change their behavior, right? They're already engaging this behavior, and we're really just coming to them and
using a piece of technology to supplement what they're doing on a daily basis.
Yeah, just kind of work with us, basically give us permission to take some of this content and kind of repackage it on our platform and list it on our marketplace. And so that's been a pretty strong value prop, and we've actually kind of we've kind of bottlenecked ourselves a little bit in terms of how many partners we bring on, because we're still building out some of the tools and we're really still kind of buttoning up some of the infrastructure that supports everything. And so we're not ready to bring on too many more partners right now. So we're kind of still growing and building, and then we'll continue to bring more on as those tools get more sophisticated.
So what's the experience like? How long have you been doing this? How long have you
so we launched in 2020, roughly. I mean, really 2021 is when I like left my previous job and went full time on this. So I kind of say January 2021 is like really the official like kind of start date for us. I was tinkering on things a little bit before then, but was still with working a full time job. Really didn't have the time to do much else. Working for another startup, which was extremely demanding, that type of thing. But yeah, we've been at it for a while, and it's actually the idea or concept for Sportsy has been around for since 2014 or so, and it's a long story there, but this kind of iteration of Sportsy has been around for about 2 years now.
Okay. And so where are you headed? What are your next goals? Like, what are you working on right now?
Yeah, so we've kind of historically been focused on the kind of end user, the individual athlete. Then we started to shift our focus towards how can we work with these content creators, and so that's where we built out the marketplace and started to build out some of those tools. We've got that in a pretty good place, like I was saying. We're still like building out some of those tools and kind of making it a little bit more kind of self-serve, where we're not having to do everything ourselves manually. And so as we do that, we'll bring on more partners and try to kind of scale that up. But our next step is really focusing on the kind of player to coach relationship within the team context. So building out some, an offering to support that, because right now we don't really have, that feature set in place, and that's a big opportunity for us in terms of, selling into clubs or athletic organizations.
Sure.
And so that's our we're a couple weeks out from launching an MVP for that offering.
So what would you say has been like the most difficult aspect of how you've been growing so far?
I'd say really it's just surviving. It's a pretty complex business. Like we're doing, we have 5 co-founders on our team. We've got a couple other people that are on the team that are just on an equity basis, and so just kind of keeping everyone together and kind of surviving and trying to get to that next milestone has been tough, but we've been able to do that so far. And it's really just like we have a really big vision. We want to, ultimately we want to be the kind of go-to platform for sports training, not just for youth sports, but for the broader kind of sports training industry. We can't move fast enough. So it's
Sure.
really about pulling the right capital and resources together and keeping
Sure.
all of it.
What do you guys think you've done well?
I'd say for us, our focus on user experience is probably like our biggest strength.
I was going to say that the UX side of things probably has to be really good if you've got 8,000 users and you're converting that from 7 or 8 creators that you have creating content on that side of things.
User experience for me is I'm pretty passionate about it. That's I was working I've been in the kind of product development space for the last 6-7 years. Cool. And so and I kind of gravitate towards user experience. I really like to put myself kind of in the shoes of the user, try to get in their head, and so I think, for us, that's how we kind of stand out or differentiate in some ways is in terms of our user experience or approach to user experience.
Yeah, I believe that. That's really interesting. Do you guys have any competition?
We do, yeah. When we think about competition for us, so right now we started with a single sport. We started with soccer as our first sport, but very much, the vision is very much to go multi-sport and really support as broad a range of sports as we can. But so when we think about competition, there's kind of the single sport, competitors. So there's a bunch of soccer training apps out there, and those are very much competitors with us today. But there's a much smaller group of kind of companies or competitors that are taking a similar approach in terms of building out a multi-sport platform and really, trying to do similar things. But there's definitely some competition in our space.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So you guys have had what kind of experience on the tech side of things? How complex was the technology to build out?
Yeah, so we've got a pretty awesome dev team. So one of our CTO, he's 20 plus year software developer. And then we have a lead engineer who's also part of the co-founding team, who is a little bit greener, but she's extremely effective. Like working with our CTO, those two together have been extremely effective.
So the end goal for your product is web based or iOS and Android based?
It's Mobile, yeah. So we're trying to kind of stay native mobile, but we will probably end up supporting some experiences on web, especially when it comes to like more of the coaching and like kind of if you imagine like a trainer partner logging into some kind of dashboard to see analytics about their content and that kind of thing. That'll probably be web based.
Sure. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, man. Hey, I think what you guys are doing is really, really cool. I think it's really unique. What's kind of the timeline? I know you kind of said where you're headed is growing out more of that coach relationship features thing, but how do you guys see yourself scaling up over the next year or two?
Yeah, so next kind of immediate goal is getting the kind of teams offering out, and then obviously we're going to spend some time trying to scale that up. We've got some early kind of verbal commitments to pilot that. So right out of the gate, we should have a few soccer clubs that are ready to start using that, testing that. And then, we'll stay on that kind of path for a while, trying to kind of, essentially bring on customers and kind of scale up that side of things. And then, while we're doing that, we're very much, starting to really focus on raising capital. It's the worst time probably right now to do that, just given the market.
It's a tough time.
Yeah,
it's a tough time for sure.
Right, and so we're going to be doing that very soon. We're kind of gearing up to like really focus on fundraising while we get the teams offering off the ground. But beyond that, like our looking at the next year, our next big milestone is to launch the next sport. So we really want to move towards actually being a multi-sport platform relatively soon, and so we're starting to kind of figure out the playbook with a single sport, and that's always been the idea, is like nail down the model with a single sport and then see how we can apply that to the next sport. And as we do that over time, that timeline should get shorter in terms of launching additional sports. Sure.
Well, that's really unique, man. I think the product that you have, there's definitely a place in the market for it. I mean, we've seen the on-demand services space grow at an unprecedented rate over the last few years. So you definitely have something viable there as far as business strategy goes, proof of concept, probably now approaching some revenue, things like that. Like you're there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we are. It's we're still, for me, I still feel like we're pushing that boulder up the hill right now. Mm-hmm. There's, we've had some wins. We've definitely had some success. Getting into the Velocity Accelerator, which we just completed this past May. This month.
Congratulations!
Thanks. Was a huge boost for us. Got some cash in, and also just the the support and kind of the environment that here was extremely helpful. I mean, I think we're close, right? And you're until you kind of get that very elusive product market fit and kind of start cresting that hill. It can feel very tough and it's painful. It's hard.
Hey, I look forward to you guys' success in the future. I think it's going to be really, really cool.
Thanks.
I want to kind of allude back to something that you said earlier, where you were talking about like going all in on the business that you have now.
Yeah.
Well, this podcast is called Burn the Ship because we believe business is exactly that.
Sure.
Is literally committing, going all into your business.
Right.
So tell me, what does that feel like? Like that moment that you decided, okay, I'm familiar, I know what I'm doing, I know what my role is here.
Yeah.
I'm going all in, I'm going to make it happen. Just describe to me the emotion and the thought process of something like that.
Yeah, no, I'd say it's a weird mix of kind of liberating and extreme fear. Going from a steady paycheck to, okay, now I'm I have money coming in, every 2 weeks, and I've got to kind of rely on my savings, and the financial side of it is extremely stressful. I'm not, I don't have a wealthy like family or anything like that,
right.
So it's all very much bootstrapped, and but I'd say it's speaking to like the kind of liberation, it's extremely. It feels good. I mean, I'm doing something I'm extremely passionate about. I'm 100% bought in. I'm here for kind of the long haul, and so making that decision was extremely hard. I was very happy, and I was enjoying the work I was doing at my previous job, and but the timing and that passion was not going away, and so I felt like it was the timing was right. It was kind of now or never, especially, we made the decision to kind of go all in during the pandemic, and our product is very much kind of a product that can thrive in that environment. And so it felt like, things were kind of lining up. But yeah, I'd say it's scary. It's you know, some days are amazing. Some days are really really tough. You know, you were kind of speaking about before we started recording, I think, you know, sharing stuff and trying to get people to engage, and you can't force that. And so when things aren't working, it can feel really, you know, tough and almost like you're screaming into the void a little bit. No one's listening or paying attention. But when you have those successes, when you really kind of roll up the sleeves and hit some milestone or goal, you know, things start working. I can't, you know, think of anything more kind of gratifying or rewarding than figuring that out. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Well, it's been good to meet you, my friend. This experience has been good. It's been good conversation with you. And like I said, I usually have some words of advice or experience or reference to make to something at this point about where you guys are going. But man, you guys you're approaching that hill.
Yeah.
You about have all the things in place where you're about to just push the gas wide open, man. I really do think so.
Yeah.
You guys have a definite solution to a very, very specific problem. And usually you don't run into people in that phase. You know, usually run into people that are still doing proof of concept or understanding what that user experience is actually going to be to solve the problem that they're looking to solve. And you guys are a very developed and mature company. Man.
Thanks. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's super nice. Yeah, and I alluded to this earlier, but like we've been kind of, you know, thinking about and kind of working in this space for longer than we've, like, the last 2 years. And I think that is reflected in what you're saying. Like we are a bit more, you know, mature than your average 2-year startup because there's some history there, which I won't go into all the details. It's a long story, but you know, this team and the kind of core group that's involved with Sportsy today has been working together in some capacity on similar things over the last 6-7 years. And
right.
So, really what we're seeing today is kind of the culmination of that.
Sure. Well, I hope to reconnect in the near future and see where you guys are headed, man.
Yeah.
You got anything big coming up? You guys doing any demo days or pitches as you're beginning to raise capital or anything like that?
No, nothing. Yet? Yeah, nothing like in the like near term. Like I said, we just wrapped up, you know, an accelerator, which is extremely intense. So we're kind of catching our breath a little bit, getting back into the groove on things. But yeah, we're going to be, you know, exploring, you know, all of our options in terms of continuing to bring capital in, or maybe it's another accelerator. Or, you know.
Well, we spend a lot of time out there in Atlanta at Atlanta Tech Village.
Yeah.
So yeah, come out there.
Yeah, definitely.
They got cohorts all the time, accelerator programs. There's some good stuff out there, and some people with a lot of money. So.
Yeah. For sure. I mean, we're like I said, you know, like surviving is something we've done successfully so far, and part of that is looking for those type of opportunities. So
well, come hang out with us. It's definitely there for you. I'll connect you as well as I can. But yeah, I appreciate your time, my friend.
Awesome, man. Likewise. Yeah, really enjoyed the chat.
Well, thanks, guys. Until next time.